Hey everyone, so the problem that we'll be discussing today is from the recent November Cook-Off 2021 and the problem name is Disabled King. So the difficulty level of this problem is easy and its prerequisites are none. Let's have a look at the problem statement. So chef loves chess and has thus invented a new piece called Disabled King. So from any cell x, y, the disabled king can move to the following positions in one move. So these are the positions. So in short, the disabled king cannot move horizontally. So if you check out each of these positions, so if this is x comma y, then x comma y plus 1. So he can move below, right? He can move above, right? He can move this way, diagonally, 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 and diagonally. So he can move everywhere, but he cannot move like this. So horizontally is not allowed for the disabled king. Okay. Now, uh, okay, yeah. So in short, the disabled king cannot move horizontally. Now in an n cross n chess board, the disabled king is currently situated at the top left corner and wants to reach the top right corner. So determine the minimum number of moves in which the task can be accomplished. So let us just draw an n cross n chessboard. So actually the n cross n really doesn't matter. Only the one side n it matters. Okay. So yeah. So the king is first in this and he wants to reach over here. So considering he cannot move horizontally, let us see how the king will move. So we will be only requiring the top two rows. That's why I am only drawing these two. So let us consider that first n is say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have n is equal to 8, standard chessboard. Okay. So how the king will move? First he will go over here, right? Then over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, right? So this is how the king will move over here and straight. So how many moves? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in 8 moves, he was able to reach his target, right? Now, let us take n to be odd. Okay. So we have say n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So n is equal to 5. Okay. So again, I'll be only drawing the top two rows because that is all that is required. So we have our king situated over here and he wants to reach over here. So again, starting first, the king starts from here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So basically, here n was even and here n was odd. So the only difference you can see between even and odd is that in odd you can use moves of this type and this type, like going to the bottom right and to the top right, and you can directly reach the intended target. So you don't have to use any vertical moves. Whereas over here, since n is even, you will reach exactly below the target square and therefore you have to use one vertical move. So basically you can consider if you have some n, then you have n minus 1 diagonal moves. Okay. And for even, there is just an additional one move. So there is plus 1 over here. And for odd, there is no additional move. So there are total n minus 1 moves for odd. Let us see why the moves will be n minus 1. So it is actually pretty easy. Let me just, yeah, draw another. Say we have n is equal to 7. Okay. So yeah, n is equal to 7. So now the king is over here, wants to reach here. So now let us see what is the exact horizontal distance between them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically the king has to cover 6 squares horizontally, right? So if the king was allowed horizontal moves, then in 6 moves he would have reached. But the king is not allowed horizontal moves, right? So in every 2 moves, he is able to cover 2 squares. Okay, so 1, 2. So every 2 squares in 2 moves. So how many moves for 6 squares? So he has to cover 6 squares, right? So how many moves? So it's easy, 6 moves. So for odd, it's pretty easy. That the answer will always be n minus 1. So number of moves are n minus 1. So the answer is also n minus 1 for odd. N minus 1 for odd. Now for even, it's slightly different, because for even, say we take the example of n is equal to 6. Okay. So for n is equal to 6, the king has to move from here to here. So what is the number of horizontal moves? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 moves. Now again, with diagonal moves, 2 squares in 2 moves, right? 2 squares in 2 moves. So finally, the king will be able to cover 4 squares, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 squares will be covered in 4 moves. Now he has to cover this 1 square, but he cannot do it in one single move. So for this one single move, he will require 2 moves. So 1 below and 1 straight up. So for the remaining one move, sorry, for the remaining 1 square, there will be 2 moves. So there is one extra move over here. That is why for even, for n is even, the answer is n moves. Whereas for n is odd, the answer is n minus 1. And we have understood this how. So yeah, this was basically the problem statement along with the solution approach. Now let us directly go to the C++ implementation. So starting the C++ implementation, first we took input the integer t, which is the number of test cases. Then we just ran a while loop. So while t minus minus, so this will run until the value of t is 0. So basically this loop will run t times. Now inside this loop, what we do, we take input integer n, which is the size of the chessboard. Now if n is odd, that is if n mod 2, then we will output n minus 1 like we saw in the solution. Else we can also output n. So basically this was the solution. Now this can be made a one-liner solution like this. So C in n and C out, one very easy n mod 2. So this is again one very clever way to write the same thing. So over here, if we write C out n minus n mod 2. So if n is odd, then n mod 2 will be 1, and for odd the answer is n minus 1. Whereas if n is even, then the answer will simply be n, since n mod 2 is 0. So this is a clever way to write the same thing, and this will definitely give you an AC. So yeah, this was the implementation, and let me know if you have any doubts. Thank you.